Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name's Kath, and a little over 24 years ago, I created the Cheapskates Club to share how my family lives the Cheapskates way, and that's debt-free, cashed up, and laughing. And I'm laughing at my daughter who's hiding over there.
Hello, goodbye.
Not because life is perfect, but because living thoughtfully and within our means gives us a kind of freedom that money alone can't buy. So if this is your first time here, I'm so glad you found us. And if you've been with us for a while, welcome back. Now, there were lots of comments. We've got 30 people watching, 36 people watching already. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay. And Barb was first, of course. Hi, Barb. I hope you're not getting much rain, are you? Are you getting lots of rain? Hopefully not flooding for you. We are well. We are all well. All that. Okay. I got poked in the eye, so it's all weepy and wonky. I've got dreadful hay fever or sinus from the dust and the smoke that's in the air, and I'm itchy because of the wind we've had that's blown around pollens and stuff. But otherwise, I am absolutely fantastic. Hi, Beverly. Delaney's having a break, and that's fine. So we're all going to play nice tonight, aren't we? Just remember, treat other people the way you would like to be treated. Hi, Jenny. Hello, Cheryl. Traveling Teaspoon. Hello. Hi, Joy. I was just talking. I'll send you a message. I was just, hang on, making a to-do list. I want to ask you a question about Food Bank. So I'll write it down and then I'll remember. I'll send it after the show, Joy. Hello, Evelyn. And Sandra. Oh my gosh, comments are coming in faster than I can scroll through them. Mary, hello. Hello, Utah. Hi, Kylie. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Karen. Happy New Year to you. Hi, Annabelle. Hello, Sylvia. Oh, we've got lots of people. Oh, gosh. Hang on. I nearly shut us down. Shouldn't leave me in charge of technology, should you? Hi, Maddie. How you going? We haven't heard from you for a while. Aisha Gilbert, that's lovely. Welcome. If you're new here and it's your first time, let us know. I'm hopeless with names. The regulars will tell you I am hopeless with names. That's just me. I always have been. But don't forget to introduce yourselves because we really, really, really like to make new friends. Fires, yeah. It's been absolutely, it's been awful, hasn't it? Yeah. Hi, Suzanne. Absolutely awful. Now, I've got a little thing I can do up here, but somehow, okay, maybe I can't do it. It's done appeared, as the kids used to say. Maybe I was able to. I don't know what's happened. All right. I used to be able to put the comments on the screen for you, but that seems to have disappeared. Not a lot of rain. Good, Barb. Hello, Tabitha. Okay. All right. So, between Christmas and New Year, I think it was, just before Christmas, there were two stories, anyway, about in media about how I do once a year shopping, which is fine. I'm happy to talk to anyone about once a year shopping because I love it. I love, 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 love it. It suits me down to the ground. But that then, of course, created a lot of questions about what do you buy? How do you know how much to buy? Where do you get it all from? How do you pay for it? Where do you, excuse me, now I've got the hiccups, where do you store it? That one always makes me laugh. Everyone goes, oh, we've only got a small house, we've got nowhere to store it. We have a slightly bigger than average house, but there's no storage in this house. It is a shocker when it comes to storage. You can fit a year's worth of groceries, a year's worth of ingredients, let me clarify, it doesn't take up much room. If you're buying ingredients, it doesn't take up much room. So there we go. Hi, Sheena. Alrighty, so let me find my notes because I do have some for you. So we can talk about this, and I hope you've all got your questions if you've got any. Remember, if it's a question, pop it in capitals in the comments so that in the chat so that I can see it. It'll stand out for me, and then I can do my best to answer it for you, because they tend to scroll by really quickly and I don't always see them. I might miss them. But I love once a year shopping. I go once and I do my big shop and I come home and I put it away, and that's it for a year. Now, that doesn't mean I don't go to the supermarket. I don't go out. I do. These days I usually go on a Wednesday, and that's to get a bottle of milk. If there's any really super duper fantastic deals on that fit in with my shopping list, then I might pick those up. Some of the fresh produce that we don't grow or I can't get from the greengrocer, not often though. And I was in Woolworths today. I have to say, shame on Woolworths. Their fruit selection was shocking, absolutely shocking. The prices were average, but the selection was atrocious. Now, I understand that the last couple of weeks the weather has been terrible, but really, for the fruit that we should have in store now isn't coming from far north Queensland, not for us. So there's really no excuse for the absolutely shocking selection of fruit. Aldi was 10 times better than Woolworths was. I was quite peeved just because I was. So I like to go those things once a week, because if I do the shopping in one big hit, I stop worrying about the prices. I don't have to worry about shortages. I don't have to, have I forgotten something? Are we going to run out of something? I don't have to do all that. I'm not a fan of supermarket shopping. I don't mind the actual shopping. It's being in the supermarket that drives me nuts, because there's people with trolleys that stop in the middle of the aisle and just stare off into space, or they're walking around on their phone pushing a trolley randomly, and no, I don't cope very well with that. I'm getting too old and crabby. So I tend to try and stay away from them, which is why once a year shopping works really well for us, even though we live smack bang in the middle of suburbia, and I have so many supermarkets around me that even within walking distance, that it's just seems ridiculous to most people that I would even dream of it. If I was on a cattle station in the middle of Western Queensland or Western Australia or Northern Territory, people would understand. But because I'm in suburbia, they just don't. They just don't. But it is so good to get it over and done with. So tonight I want to share my once a year shopping plan. I've used this system for years, and it really does help me live the Cheapskates way. So I'm going to talk about how I write the shopping list, where I shop, where I don't shop, when I shop for the best prices, where everything is stored, and I want to go over why once a year shopping saves money and time and energy, and how it fits perfectly within a debt-free, cashed up and laughing lifestyle. Okay, so let me just flip back here. Sorry. Wow. 12 cans. Well, I was looking, Maddie's talking about his 12 cans of soup. I was checking back on prices for you guys because I don't have a great variety of tins. There's a lot of tins over there at the moment, but not a lot of variety. And tomato soup, when I first started this, was 79 cents a can. Then it went to 89 cents. Then it went to 99 cents. Then it went to $1.10. Now it's up to $1.30. So price rises are something that we all have to deal with. Hi, Melissa. For your bunch samples, can't you ask where they are at the service desk? Or look on the aisle. They've got the aisle thing, and it generally tells you what aisle things are in. Or for anything, actually. So, yeah, as long as you're not parked in the middle, you're fine, Fiona. I won't get grumpy with you. If you moved over to the side and I can get round, not a problem. Not a problem. But when you're in the middle of the aisle and blocking me, that's a bit different. So let's go back to how I write my once a year shopping list. Can I go to bed? I didn't start once a week. I didn't wake up one day and go, I think I'm going to go to the supermarket and buy a whole year's worth of groceries. It morphed over time. Excuse me just one moment. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go for more. Come on. You. You. No. Good girl. Sorry, folks, I'm on my own and I'm dog sitting. I didn't wake up one day and go, I'm going to go and do a whole year's worth of groceries today and race out the door and do that. It happened over time because it grew from when I went from weekly shopping to fortnightly shopping and decided that worked really well. If I could shop for a fortnight, why couldn't I shop for a month? That would be easier on our budget at the time because remember, way back then, I had $200. $200. Not $200.01, $200 for the whole month to buy all our groceries, all the meat, the fruit, the veg, the cereals, the baking supplies, the butter, the cheese, everything. And in that, I had to include the baby's medicine, and I allowed myself one packet of disposable nappies a month. It's just to make life easier. So moving from weekly to fortnightly was good. Moving to monthly was even better. But I didn't do it straight away. It took a while. It progressed that way. And it started off when I realized that I was buying pretty much the same basic things every time I went to the supermarket, whether it was weekly or fortnightly at that stage, I was still buying butter, I was still buying eggs, milk, cheese, peanut butter, Vegemite, cereal for the children, the meat, the chicken, the flour, the sugar, the pasta, the tin tomatoes, the frozen peas, pretty much the same things all the time. The only difference was in summer, I tended to buy beetroot and pineapple because that's what we had with our salads. And in winter, it was more tomato soup or chicken noodle soup that sort of crossed over. They were a bit seasonal. So then I thought, well, that's easy because if I do it for a fortnight, I'm just doubling for each week. So to do for a month, I just double the fortnight. So it would be 4 punnets of butter. At that stage, it was wrapped. 4 things of butter, 4 pats of butter, 4 bottles of milk, and 3 went in the freezer. 4 packets of rice bubbles, 2 things of sugar. We didn't use a lot of sugar. 4 kilos of flour, that sort of thing. It was easy enough to multiply for a month. And I kept a book. I had that book for years and years, and I lost it I was doing a shoot for a current affair and it got lost. I left it behind, moving from one place to the next, and it got lost. But it had my shopping list, and my shopping list was written out by the item. Then I had the number I had to buy, the price last shop, and as I went around, the price last shop, the total price for last shop, and as I went around, I put the price for this shop, and if something had gone up, I knew I didn't have the money to buy it, so I had to find a cheaper version or not buy it, find something else that would do the job. So I had those columns rolled up in this. It was just a spiral notebook that I got from, Kmart was the only department store we had at the time, so Kmart. And it worked really, really well. And that sort of pretty much formed the basis of my first price book too. But that meant I could keep track of the monthly prices, what I was buying, how much I was buying of each thing, and I knew exactly what the groceries were going to cost. So don't encourage her, Barb. So then when I moved from monthly to 3 monthly, it took a while because I had to save up the money to be able to do that, because money was really tight for a very long time. Money was really, really tight. And so I had to save up the money to be able to do a 3 monthly shop. But when I did, all I simply, to get the quantities, was multiplied everything on the monthly list by 3. Now, in those days, I shopped at Jewel. Some of you might remember Jewel. We had Jewel, we had Woolworths, we had Coles. And there was another independent grocer. I can't remember what it was, in our town. That's all we had, Jewel, Woolworths and Coles. The Woolworths wasn't fantastic. The Coles was okay, but it was expensive. So I always went to Jewel because it was cheaper. And I'd do the shopping now. For our monthly and 3 monthly shops, our kids were very little then. So Wayne would come home from work because he had Thursday night, late night shopping. He would come home, we'd load the kids in the car and go to do the shopping. And he would put the 3 kids in the trolley and he would push one trolley and have the calculator, and I had the shopping list and the other trolley, and I'd throw the groceries in the trolley and off we'd try and cross things off the list, and he would add it up. So we knew when we got to the checkout exactly how much it was going to cost to the cent. And if it was different, I was able to query it straight away. And I did, because I didn't have the money to pay for any overcharges. That's pretty much how I started writing my shopping list. And it was simply the things that we buy all the time. the soap, the toothpaste, the shampoo, everything was on that shopping list. All our cleaning, all our toiletries, all our food was on that shopping list. Now, some of you may have, if you're in the members, you can go log in, and if you put our once a year shopping list in the search, my list will come up. It's long. It's a very long list because you're shopping for everything for 12 months, but it has quantities next to each thing. So, for example, I've got bicarb soda, 5 kilos, borax, 3, which is 1.5 kilos, bug spray, 4. We use bug spray on the outside of the house. Dishwasher powder, 12. Dishwashing liquid, 6. Now, I only buy 6, and I buy the Morning Fresh Concentrate, the 400 ml bottles, and I dilute it by half because we only use 1 a month. So I only need 6 bottles for the year. Diluting it by half will give us the 12 bottles that we need. I use 3 bottles of eucalyptus oil because I use it for cleaning. It goes in miracle spray. I put it in the vaporizer for me if I need it. Scrub buds, 3. Washing soda, 4 packets. I use washing soda in miracle spray and my laundry powder. And white vinegar is 5 litres. So things like that. All the toiletries are listed: the body wash, the conditioner, the shampoo, the deodorant, the hairspray, hand wash. I have to say though, looking at this list, there's a few things I don't buy anymore. This is a very old list from when the children were smaller. I don't buy hand wash anymore. I make it. I don't I buy Dove soaps, and the cheapest place I can get them at the moment is the Reject Shop for $1.25 a bar. I had a look at Costco. Boy, Costco was so expensive for the Dove soaps, in their 16 pack, and it was over $1.50 a bar, so $1.54 or something a bar. Toilet paper, toothbrushes, it's all there. First aid, but the food is mostly at the top for the groceries. And you'll see, if you see this list, you'll see it says baked beans, 104. We use about 2 tins of baked beans a week. Wayne loves baked beans on toast he'd eat baked beans on toast for tea every night if I let him. But for a weekend lunch, baked beans on toast or in a jaffle. I use baked beans to stretch mince. If you rinse them, depending on what you make, but if you rinse the sauce off, and then chop them up, whiz them up in a food processor until they look like mince and stir them through the mince. It's a tin of baked beans to about 500 grams of mince, almost doubles it. It's a great meat stretcher. And of course, baked beans are so good for you. Here it says cereal, Riceys, 12. I don't buy Riceys anymore because nobody eats them anymore. We still eat all bran, we still have Wheat Bix, we still have rolled oats. Choc bits, it's in alphabetical order, so I'm going through it. Honey, 6 jars. I've cut that back to 4 because we don't use as much honey anymore, but it gives you an idea of what 12 months worth of groceries looks like for our family. And I want to stress that is my list for my family, for the way we eat and deal with our food. It's what was I gonna say? If you don't eat what we eat and use your food the way we use the food, then my list is sort of irrelevant, but it will give you an idea of what it looks like for me. I because okay, Cheryl's got a good question. Um, Sorry, just checking. Hi, Yvonne. Could Dove soap replace any moisturizer? No, it's a soap. They say it's not a soap, it's a cleansing bar. You'd still need, if you need a body lotion or something afterwards, you would still need it. Okay, Cheryl is asking, given that online shopping from Amazon, etc., is so easy and can be cheaper even with postage, do you research prices buy online elsewhere before you do your yearly shop? No, because they're not cheaper. I buy generics. I don't buy, the only branded things I buy, tea and coffee. Um, I'm just thinking, tea and coffee. I buy generics. And yeah, I buy generics and they're not cheaper. I know people will say, yes, they are, and you do this and this. No, they're not. Trust me. For the quantities I want, when I want them, and the brands or non-brands that I want, it's not cheaper. For things like meat and produce, fruit and veggies, yes, I do shop around. Herbs and spices, I shop around. I flip between Aldi, Coles, and Woolworths. For most things, I can do just as well at Coles or Woolies using my 10% off as I can at Woolworths, at Aldi. But there are some things that are still a lot cheaper at Aldi than they are at the others, even with the discount. So, for example, I buy a packet of cheese slices a fortnight for Wayne's lunch. He likes them on his lunch. Okay. They are $4.49 at Woolworths. So I would get 50 cents off them, which would bring them down to $3.90. But they're only $3.45 at Aldi. So even with the discount, it's still cheaper to go to Aldi. So you do need to know your prices. You do need to know your prices. But buying online through Amazon or any of the other supposed great grocery things, not really. And don't forget, I buy ingredients. I don't buy convenience. I don't buy packet things. I just, ingredients. And in Australia, flour is flour. Doesn't matter what brand it's got on the packet, pretty box or a plain packet, it's flour. Sugar is sugar. We do not import sugar into Australia. White sugar is white sugar. It's Australian. You do need to check your frozen veg. That's a shocker. Check your eggs, where your eggs come from. I know Joy buys them straight from the farm. If you've got hens, then well done. You know where your eggs are coming from. Even things like your bakery items can come from overseas, like bread. And I'm sure you've all seen the ridiculous stories that come out from Coles and Woolworths, get their bread made in Ireland and bring it here and bake it here, so they can say it's Australian made. That's just ridiculous. So sorry, I'm just watching the comments too. Lost my train of thought. So knowing your prices for what you want is really important. Now, if you buy brands, like if you buy brand name things all the time, if you don't buy home brand tomato soup, you've got to buy Heinz or Campbell's. then maybe it will be cheaper to shop online through Amazon or whatever. But for what I buy, no, it's not. Okay, now I'm just going back up here. Karen says the new Aldi app is great. Yes, it is. Karen's already done her 12-month shop. Yep. All right, now, but Cheryl, I'm in the city. Let me clarify too. I'm in the city. If you are not in the city, it might actually be cheaper for you to do your shopping that way. What it would drive me nuts, because it would be in bits and bobs and dribs and drabs. That would send me spare. I like to go, get everything, get it home, get it put away. I don't like bits hanging around and coming in slowly. Trickle down grocery shopping does not work for me. But for you it might, because you are out of a major city. So it might work for you, but you would have postage delivery quite possibly. Not everything is free delivery. Oh, yeah, they say Dove soap contains quarter moisturizing. It's like Cadbury chocolate has a glass and a half of milk. Really? I like Dove soap. For me is a treat. It's not our regular soap. I make soap. It's a treat, and I like the pink one. So every now and then I can get a really good deal on the pink one through, usually here it goes, so I don't buy groceries of Amazon. Off Amazon, well, sometimes I'll find a really good deal and it might be 80 cents a bar or something, but you've got to buy the whole box. So I usually share it with a friend who likes the pink soap too, the pink Dove too, and we split it. But that's a treat for me. I don't buy it all the time. And no, I use Aveeno lotion that I buy when it's on half price for that. Now, Kylie says, you could have knocked me over with a feather when I audited our yearly weekly shopping, saved in the thousands. Yearly shopping saves you a lot of money. For a start, you've got fuel. Okay, now for me, running backwards and forwards to the supermarket doesn't use a lot of fuel, but for some of you, it uses quite a bit. You've got fuel, you've got time. Then there's all those things that even if you shop with a list, there's always something that's going to pop in to the trolley, or there's going to be the walk past the coffee shop that gives you a free donut with your coffee on your way out and you're exhausted and you think a coffee would be really nice. Little things that all add up, let alone the prices. Someone asked me after the interview, did I feel that I was missing out on great deals through the year? Well, I have to say, for the last 3 years, there have been very few great deals, very few things that have made me go, I'll raid the shopping account and go and stock up on that now. Because they just haven't been there. It would have to be a really, really good deal. But as I said, because I mostly buy generic products, I don't miss those deals. Every now and then there might be something fabulous, like, I'm trying to think of something fabulous that's a grocery item, and I can't, that we use. I can't. We have it's ingredients, mostly ingredients, so very simple shopping. What about use by dates and expiry dates? Well, okay, use bys are very different, but I'm buying ingredients. So I'm buying for the year, they're shelf stable. So they're going to have at least a year on them anyway. Use by dates, I will tell you, are for fresh products. So your milk, your cheese, eggs, meat, that sort of thing. Best before is for your shelf stable things, so cereals, tinned goods, pasta, that sort of thing. The other thing, speaking of pasta, is you need to jump on and look at the Forever Foods list, or go back through the videos and watch the Forever Foods video. I generally don't worry about them, Eve. They're just dates, you know. Sometimes NQR, here we go, here's a good deal for you. NQR had the Philly cheese for $2 a block. One lot was $2 a block. So I filled my container, which was 20 blocks, because I like Philly cheese. I use it a lot. I use it in cooking. I make cheesecakes with it. I do the cream cheese patties with it. I make icing with it. I will spread it on crackers or use it in place of butter on our sandwiches. So we go through quite a bit. So I did check the dates on that, and that is actually a best before, not a use by, too, for Philly. But then that's sort of a fresh thing too. I buy either or, whichever one I can get the cheapest. And the last time I bought the tin tomatoes, let me see, I'll grab a tin and we'll see. Because I don't buy tin tomatoes all the time. Okay, these are the Woolies ones. And that says Italian diced tomatoes. Packed for Woolworths. Now it should say product of Italy. There you go. And I actually love these. These Woolies diced Italian tomatoes are brilliant. They are so luscious is the word I want to use. So luscious for those. But I don't use tin tomatoes very often. If we're growing tomatoes, I try and freeze them and make sauce with them, or just freeze them. Sometimes Big Watermelon will have boxes of them. You might get 10-kilo boxes for $20 or something. If I've got the jars and the time, I will buy them and do our own. So I don't buy a lot of tin tomatoes, but either or. And speaking of buying Italian or Australian, I tend to try and buy Australian as much as I can, but I am still conscious of price. All right. Do I have to let the store know? I tend to. I usually just go a couple of weeks before and say, hi, look, I want to do doing a yearly grocery shop between Christmas and New Year, and I will need, 8 flats of baked beans and 6 flats of tomato soup and whatever, and just to let them know. Aldi are especially good if you do that. I've got 3 Aldi stores that I go to, and they're really good. If you let them know a couple of weeks beforehand so they can get it in, they're really good at that. I don't mind at all. But it's pretty much, if you want to go and you want to buy 8 flats of something, then chances are they're not going to have 8 flats on the shelf. So then you would have to do 2 or 3 different supermarkets to get your quantity. So letting them know is just common courtesy, and it saves you too. I tend to buy cheese twice a year, Karen. And I'm buying the white label from Woolworths at the moment. It's $9.30 a kilo. The Aldi cheese is slightly cheaper, $9.30 a kilo, which means I get 10% off, is 93 cents off. It's sort of, the Aldi cheese is just a little bit cheaper, but I don't think it's as nice. It's not as nice. Sorry, Aldi, but your cheese isn't as good. The white label Colby, the white label extra tasty, and even the light tasty that I buy for Wayne is actually quite nice. And it slices really well. I think what I like when I buy cheese like that, I've got a big square Tupperware container, the big double veggie one, and I fill that up, and that holds 12 blocks. So that's usually 3 months worth, and I double stack it, which gives me the 6 months if I go that far. Cheese keeps, as long as I'm particular and make sure that it is actually sealed tight. There's no air in the packaging. Sometimes you'll pick up a block of cheese and the packaging is quite loose. I always put those ones back. I want them to be properly sealed so that they will keep. And of course, it just gets better with age. The extra tasty, the older it is, it might be a bit crumbly, but oh my gosh, it tastes delicious. So yeah, I do buy the hard cheese like that. Twice a year I usually do that. Yeah, I don't use Rosella tomato soup. I use Coles or Woolies tomato soup. Always. And I started using tomato soup. I started using tomato soup because the pasta sauce I was making with the paste and cooking it down and that was too rich for my children when they were little. They couldn't eat it. They couldn't tolerate it. It was just too rich for them. And a friend who had twin boys said to me, just use tomato soup. And I was horrified because I would never put tomato soup in pasta sauce. Oh, now that's all I use. I do, now that they've grown up, add tomato paste to it to make it that little bit richer and nicer. But yeah, it does make a great sauce. Mine too. Although I'm so good at sticking to my list these days. If it's not on the list, we don't buy it. You've heard me say that before. It just has to make a note and it'll go on the fridge for next time. But yes, it is really good. I actually think people that are used to shopping every day find the concept overwhelming. There's nothing overwhelming about doing your shopping once a year. Like I said, I do it between, well, Boxing Day, we do our Boxing Day sales. So the day after Boxing Day until, so I got the 27th, 28th, and 29th are the days I do my shopping. I break it down. I've got the list. I know what to get from Aldi, what to get from Woolworths, what to get from Coles, what to get from Hindustan. If there's anything from Costco, I discovered Costco's on DoorDash. Is it DoorDash? I don't know. It's one of those ring up things. Anyway, I had no idea that Costco could deliver like that. And Hannah got a huge order delivered just before Christmas. Yeah, just before Christmas, because we were going to go and then she was going to be too crowded. And she went, and it was $6.40. And I have to say, I kind of think that was a really good deal, even paying the $6.40, because we would have had to travel there and travel back at the time. And then she probably would have had to bail me out of jail because people do weird things in Costco. But yeah, I had no idea. Costco's on, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what those delivery things are. DoorDash? something dinner. I don't know, but it's on something anyway. Tinned Italian tomatoes at Aldi for 95 cents. Yep. Joy says, from volunteering at Food Bank and working in the pantry, we were told you can extend the date by 4 to 14 days, depending on the item. Can't be sold, that's right. You know the stuff at home is good for ages. Well, how often do you have milk or cream or yogurt or eggs, for example? I suppose I do understand why they put a date on the eggs, but honestly, eggs keep for months, and if they're in the fridge, they keep for months and months. They're really good. So, and you can tell an old egg or a rotten egg. You'll know if you've got a rotten egg. So yeah, milk, I always think milk's good for about a week, 5 to 7 days after the date. Yogurt can go for 2 or 3 weeks, especially if you store it upside down. Keep it upside down. I keep my tomato paste upside down in the fridge. I used to freeze it, and that's a pain in the patootie, especially when you don't want to use the freezer. So I just store it upside down, and it works well. Okay. Alrighty. Sorry, I got waylaid, didn't I? So I'm still on how I write my shopping list. So that's pretty much how I developed my shopping list. I realized we bought the same things every time. I doubled it for a fortnight, doubled that for a month, times that by 3 for 3 months, and then went, so much easier to just do it all. One and done, suits me fine, multiplied it out. But I did have to save up the money. So I was very conscious then of what I wasn't spending in our grocery budget. If there's anything left over, that went into the slush fund, and that was to help pay for the next year's next big grocery shop. Have I gone over where I shop? I shop Aldi, Coles, Woolies, NQR, if they've got anything fabulous when I'm doing my shop. I tend to buy meat from Australian Butcher, or there's another Farmer Joe's that's a store local to me that has reasonably priced poultry. Although I have to tell you guys, I mentioned last week that mince from Costco, that stuff is gold, absolute gold. I'm up and down a lot tonight, sorry. Let's see. I went back and got more because it is absolute gold. It's $19.99 for 2 kilos, so $10 a kilo. And you get it in 2 kilo boxes, just like this. And it's frozen. And that sort of messed with my head for a little bit. But it comes from Gippsland. It's Australian beef. It's processed here. And it says lean beef mince. I am not joking. It is lean. It is amazing, and it tastes really well. Inside it, you get the little 250 gram. It comes in 250 gram patties. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Cooks up beautifully. I've used it so far. I've made meatballs with it. I've made pasta sauce with it. What else did I make with it? Oh, meat pie. A meat pie with it. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So if you have a Costco membership, if you know someone with a Costco membership that can get it for you, because I can't get mince cheaper. It's far superior to anything I can get from Woolies and Coles. And even with my discount, they're $12 a kilo now. It's still 80 cents a kilo cheaper than Woolies or Coles. which it should be coming from Costco. But it is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, this stuff. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Because the butcher, and then if I'm not growing fruit and veg, and right now in the garden we've got raspberries, pears, apples, and rhubarb. We've always got rhubarb. If you know us, we've always got rhubarb. Apples, pears, yeah, raspberries, pears. We've got a whole bed of raspberry canes, 2 pear trees, 3 apple trees, and 2 pots of rhubarb to keep us in fruit for the moment. The lemons and oranges and mandarins will start again soon. DoorDash, thank you. I knew it was something. That's for Costco delivery, DoorDash. See, I don't know what those things are because I would never think to use them. It took me till COVID hit to think about doing a click and collect order. I quite like those if I'm in a hurry. Maddie, if it's got more than 4 ingredients, it's not worth having. And that's what we looked at some of the different products, some of the burgers at Costco. This is ingredients, beef, 100%. There you go. So, and it has no preservatives in it. Consumed within 24 hours after thawing. So, it's brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. But the flavour is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And no fat and no water. So that's where I shop. Hindustan, I will often, sometimes I'll go there, but I don't often head. It's sort of that way where I tend to go that way for most of my things. So I can get it delivered, get my order delivered once a year for free. So that's happy free delivery. I do check the prices. We've covered that. I do check the prices, and I will usually a couple of weeks before we go shopping, I will go around and make sure that, you know, who's got the cheapest tomato soup, salmon, tuna, baked beans, pineapple, beetroot. What else do I buy in a tin? That's about it. That's about it. For those things. I check the rolled oats. For rolled oats, I check anywhere I can find that has rolled oats. Yeah, that's sort of, but I do check the prices. I'm thinking of all these things. Where everything is stored. Okay. I have, it's called a walk-in pantry. It's just a cupboard with the door that you can step into. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves on the floor. That's my everyday pantry. That's pretty much the baking stuff and the tomato sauce, the peanut butter, the Vegemite that we use all the time in there. The bottom shelf, I keep things like the buckets of rolled oats and the box of chocolate chips. I have a white plastic storage box that I keep the chocolate chips in, because if I put them on the shelf, someone will eat them. And then when I want to go and make something, they won't be there. And the oil, that's something that has gone up a lot in price. I usually buy 2 4-litre tins of olive oil a year, and I prefer it in the tins because light and air are not good for your oils. So I prefer the tins. I know you can get oil in the dark bottles, the tinted green bottles and things, and that's fine. But if you can get it in tins, tins are better. You can decant it into a smaller bottle if you want to. And I usually just buy 2 of those. But boy, the price of olive oil, it's more than doubled. It is starting to come down, but it has more than doubled. So I only bought one this year. We don't use a lot of oil. I prefer olive oil. I do have some vegetable oil I was given. I was very grateful for that because that's actually really good for light frying. I don't do a lot of light frying, but when I do, olive oil can be a bit heavy. And of course, it has a low smoke point, so you've usually got to add butter to it to sort of even it out a bit, which to my mind is double fat. I'm rambling a bit, sorry. I'm just thinking, I did have to buy, just the other day, last week, I bought a new box of cling wrap. The one we're using was from when the children were in school and I was on the school board, and we ran a fundraiser from one of the parents, organised a fundraiser for us to buy the big bulk pack of cling wrap for whatever price it was. Well, my kids have been out of school for 15, 17 years. So I use a lot of cling wrap. So I had to buy some the other day. I was a bit horrified about that. But that's the kitchen. Up here, not that you can see what's up here, but in these cupboards here, this is my herbs and spices that I use all the time, and I've got them in boxes. So I've got Italian herbs and spices, the baking herbs and spices, the Mexican herbs and spices, the preserving spices, just in little trays. So if I'm doing Italian cooking, I pull that one out. If I'm baking, I can pull the baking one out, and it's got the nutmeg and the cinnamon and the allspice and the ginger and whatever, just in little trays. Just makes it easier for me. Sorry, Lacey's licking my toes. I'm going to laugh. Just makes it a little bit easier. Oh, go see Thomas. Go see Thomas. And up there, this corner cupboard up here is where I keep the things like the patty pans and the sprinkles for cupcakes and that sort of stuff. And then in the laundry, I have 2 sets of shelves, and that's where the tin things go, on the 2 sets of shelves. And for the flour and the rice, I have big tubs. I think they're 80-litre tubs, and after it's been frozen, because everything, they come home and they go into the freezer till I take them out, but at least a week. And we do that to kill any little weevils or anything that might be in there, because we don't want to spread them through our pantry. They go into those tubs and then just get decanted into the Tupperware in here when they need it. Toiletries go in the bathrooms. Cleaning things for the laundry, like laundry cleaning, the washing soda, the soap, the whatever, goes in the laundry. Dish detergent and dishwasher powder go under the kitchen sink. That's it. Toilet paper, because it's bulky, is out in my shed, in the garden shed, and I bring it in, bring in a packet a month as we need it. So storing it isn't a problem. And then, of course, we have the freezers for meat and poultry and frozen veggies. Frozen veggies, I'm and ah about those. I do buy them. Generally, peas, corn, carrots in the mix, and then I like broccoli and cauliflower. You can get the frozen broccoli and cauliflower. It is Australian, and it's about the same price as fresh per kilo, but it's just convenient to have it in the freezer. But I swing on that because I really want to cut down the reliance we have on the freezers. So I do dehydrate some veggies and just store them on the shelf. And then for our meat and our chicken, I will pressure can it. So I pressure can mince, I will pressure can corned beef, I'll do brisket. If I can get brisket cheap enough, I will do brisket. Chicken, ugly chicken is really good. So convenient to have it on the shelf. So convenient. That's the one thing with these. The other day when I was using them, and oh my goodness, before I can make the pie, I actually have to brown the mince. Whereas I usually go open a jar, drain it, mix the gravy into the water from the jar, put it all, and the pie's done. Wait, too much hard work. But I do like having those things on the shelf. I will do taco beans and keep them on the shelf ready to go. That sort of thing is really good. I'll keep that there so I've got something to say. That works really good. Dried beans are on the forever food list, guys. So don't worry about if you buy. I buy them 5 kilo lots because we use them a lot, especially in winter for soups and casseroles and stews. Black beans we use a lot of. So I like black beans. I like black beans and rice. That's just me. And they're easy to do. Joy, I've got this here because Joy says dates didn't come in until after I was married, and guess what? I survived a childhood on Sniff and Judge. I think most of us did, and I have to say, I was at my auntie's with my cousin. We were at my auntie's. She wasn't home for some reason, but we were there, and we were looking for something. And my cousin's opened the cupboard, and she's gone, "Look at this tin. It's older than me." It was a tin of cream of tartar, and it was a tin, not a little box, and not the cardboardy thing you get it in these days. But it was a proper tin with a little tin lid. And we looked on it, and it was something like 1963 or something. Just made us laugh because yes, we all did. And I don't know if many of you grew up with a mother or a father who would go, "Oh, the cheese is a bit moldy, chop that bit off and just get rid of it and keep eating the cheese." The mince is brilliant, Joy. Absolutely brilliant. My only problem with it is it isn't vacuum sealed. It's just in the little crinkly cellophane packs, which means there's air in there. So if it's in the freezer for a long time, it will get freezer burn. Nothing stays much in our freezer for a very long time, so we tend to rotate through it. But that's my only complaint. If it was vacuum sealed, vacuum packed, I would be much, much happier. So not to eat anything with numbers or unpronounceable names. Yeah, golden circle beetroot's much better than Edgell beetroot. Edgell's gone off. Do you know? And Woolworths have 2 types of beetroot. And the Woolies beetroot is much nicer than the Aldi or the Coles beetroot. And but in the little, sort of look like little tuna tins, the beetroot in the little tuna tins is much nicer than the beetroot in the big tins. So there you go. I guess it depends, Kylie, on what you buy. I noticed that I did the first couple of years I did it, prices on generics didn't go up. The prices were the same. The flour was the same price, the sugar was the same price, the baked beans were the same price, the tomatoes was soup was the same price, the packet soup, the chicken noodle soup was the same price because they're all generics. So for the first 2 years I did yearly shopping, they were the same price. Then they started during COVID, prices went crazy. And I'm sure I'm not exactly confident in saying they were justified price increases. I don't think they were. They went crazy. So you do notice it a bit. You do notice it a bit. but it gives you the opportunity to think about what's on your list and do you really need it? Do you really use it? Is there something you already have on the list that will do that job? Okay. Bozoom in Sunshine has good priced Greek olive oil. I've never heard of them, Eve, but there you go. Anyone in the western suburbs of Melbourne, that might help you. The other thing, oh guys, Hannah said I had to show you too. I have to get them up. If I have a garage as my extra dry food pantry storage, do very hot days impact food? Yes, just like they would in the house. Yes. If it's dried food, like pasta, for instance, or flour or whatever, it will be fine. Tins don't do well with extreme heat fluctuations. They just don't. And these days we've got these stupid ring pulls that should be outlawed. They're absolutely atrocious, because anything in a ring pull tin we'll have to get 2 years out of. They're awful things. But yes, it won't. Dry foods will be fine. So your flour, your pasta, that sort of thing. Tins don't do well in extremes. Jars don't do well in extremes. Oils don't do well in extremes. So those sorts of things you need to be careful of, and where you store them. Right now. I shop over 3 days, Fiona. So I have specific things I buy at each shop and bring them home. I make sure that the outside freezer is empty, because as you will be aware, I've been cutting down on freezers. We actually were able to sell one freezer, so we're down to 3. I keep one empty. The outside freezer I try to keep empty, so at the start of the year I can put in the flours and the oats, and I put pasta in. Anything I think that might carry a bug goes into the freezer, and I just leave it there till I'm ready to move it inside. But I do have 3 freezers, so I currently have three freezers. Yeah, if you don't have the freezer space, it's a problem. You could get round it by, as soon as you bring home your flour, your oats or whatever, if you vacuum seal it, take it out of the packaging, especially if it's in paper, because bugs just love paper. They love the paper packaging. So if it's in paper packaging, take it out of that straight away and vacuum seal it. That will help. And if there's anything in it, it'll either die from no air, or it'll be contained, so that when you open it, it'll only be in that one packet. It won't be through the whole thing. When I buy my spelt flour or I buy my gluten flour, I buy it in big bundles. I weigh it out into 2 kilo lots, and I vacuum seal it. And I do that because it stacks easier on the shelf, but it also helps to control any bugs that are there too. Utilize frozen peas, corn, and green beans. Yeah, you've got to really, really read the labels for your frozen veg, and anything that comes from New Zealand. I generally, if it says from New Zealand, I generally put it back or skip it. Sorry, New Zealand, but your food food security is abysmal. Is just awful. Just awful. There you go. Joy says, with cheese, the recommended safe distance is 1/4 to 1/2 inch. So 6 mil to 1 point to 12 mil inside the spot should be cut off. Okay, that's handy to know. That's not much. That's just a slice, yeah. Okay, desiccated coconut. If you keep it in your fridge or in your freezer, it will keep for ages. If it's on the shelf, probably 12, 18 months, maybe 2 years, because it's oily. So it will go rancid. You'll know if it's not good because it will change color. It will get very dark and yellowy, like old tea-stained paper, and it will stink. It'll go rancid. So try and keep it in your fridge if you can, or freeze it. A massive bag. Well, that's a good score. That is a good score. Selena, you'll find that a lot of the product that comes from New Zealand is actually packaged in New Zealand from China. Oh dear, that's awful, Kylie. How do you save up for a yearly shop? It was torturous, Cheryl. It was absolutely torturous, because when I first started doing this, we still had, I think Hannah was still at school, so we're still paying school fees for one child. And it was torturous. But it became a category in our savings, in our budget. It was a category. Grocery shopping, yearly grocery shopping. It still is a category in our budget, yearly grocery shopping. And every pay, a portion will go into it. It meant that we didn't do a lot for about 9 months. We went nowhere. We didn't go on a holiday that year. We didn't do a trip that year. We did not eat out. We didn't even get a, once a fortnight fish and chip night or anything. It was torturous. It was hard work. In saying that, saving up for anything can be hard work. If you've got the goal and you really want to get there quickly, it can be hard work. So it meant that all extras were cut out for us. And if there was any money left from the monthly grocery bill, the slush fund, I've always called it a slush fund, I don't know what other people call it, it would get moved straight into that account to save up for it. So I knew I wanted to have at least $3,500 in that account when I wanted to do the shopping. And why I chose the week between Christmas and New Year is simply because it's quiet. Those 3 days, 27, 28, 29th of December, are really quiet in supermarkets. Really, really quiet. People have done their Boxing Day. They're all out, buying shoes and clothes and whatever, or they're going on holidays, whatever. The supermarkets are quite quiet. So it's perfect time for me then to do that. So that's how come I got to do it then. Doesn't matter when you do it. But yeah, it was torturous. It's like we're saving up for our trip in June now, and I'm not being quite so strict, but yeah, we've cut out a lot of things to try and boost, because we know our trip is it will cost us more this time than our other trips have. So yeah, we cut out everything extra, or I cut it out. And it was probably harder on me than it was on the rest of the family, because they didn't quite know. Wayne knew, but it's just like, as long as he had his lunch every day and his tea every day and the bills were paid, it was no great drama. But yeah, it was hard. Saving up for anything is hard. but I did just save up for it. I made it a category in the budget, and I worked out how much I had to save each month, and I just worked towards it. I sold a few things. I took on some extra work. What else did I do? Can't remember. There was something else. Sold a few bits and pieces we didn't need. I was doing extra work. Something else. Can't remember. It was nothing drastic. Certainly didn't bring any millions of dollars. Making your own bread, cheese damper with sunflower seeds, yum. 25 kilos. Okay, that is a lot of coconut. Oh my giddy aunt. Yeah. I would break it down into smaller bags. Don't vacuum seal it. Pretty sure you can't. Hang on, let me check. Let me check for you. I'm pretty sure you can't. Vacuum seal desiccated coconut. Not dedicated, desiccated. Gated coconut. Oh, it says you can. Okay. You can absolutely vacuum seal desiccated coconut to significantly extend shelf life by removing air, preventing oxidation. That's what, keeping out moisture, making it last much longer than just in its original bag, even up to a year or more when combined with refrigeration or freezing. Yep. This method is great for bulk storage, keeping it fresh for baking and cooking. There you go. So you can. I didn't think you could. Share it with the family, yeah. Okay, now there was one last thing I wanted to do. Why once a year shopping saves money and mental energy? Well, it sort of comes down to the mental energy part is your shopping list. Your shopping list also becomes your inventory. And it's really nice to know how my inventory is. I have my shopping list. I know what's on the shelf at the beginning of the year. I know what should be there at the end of the year, nothing, or pretty much nothing. If there's more, then that's okay. We've got to start for the next year. But it just means I'm not constantly worrying about the grocery budget. I'm not constantly worrying about getting to the supermarket. I'm not constantly worried about prices. I do keep a track of them. I started again in November noting prices in my price book. But it's just easier. If it seems overwhelming to you, start small. Just because I shop once a year and love it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Doesn't mean that you will. You might find that moving from daily to weekly will be a big switch, or from weekly to fortnightly to monthly. But do it like I did. I didn't do it all at once. I did it in baby steps. So I had the experience of the weekly shop, which made fortnightly shopping slightly easier. Once I got that down pat, I liked the idea of the monthly shop. So I did that. When I went, oh, this is really good. I don't like going to the supermarket. We went to 3 monthly. It was even better. So take the method and make it work for you. You might find that twice a year works better for you, or once a quarter. every 3 months works better. Or you might just be find your ideal grocery budget, your ideal pantry size with weekly or fortnightly. Don't get overwhelmed. And just because I say I love once a year grocery shopping, it works for us. It works for me. It works for my family. It may not, it will not work for everyone. So you take the bits that work for you and do it. You might find that buying some things once a year works better for you than a whole shopping list. So you might want to stock up on sardines for the year if they're on a really great special. And I know how many times have I gone to a supermarket and there's been something and it's been a great deal and nobody's taking it. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with you people? Shampoo was a perfect example. A couple of years ago, I was in a Woolworths at Chenside Park, and shampoo was 50 cents a bottle. And people just reaching over it to take the $5 shampoo. What is wrong with you people? It's detergent. Do you not know what this stuff is? And so I cleared the shelf. Now, just as I was putting in the last of it, a lady came up and she said to me, oh, so I shared it with her. She'd just missed out. She'd just heard about it and come over to get some, and I'd taken it all. I didn't buy shampoo for 2 years. But so that might work better for you. It doesn't have to be a whole overwhelming thing. Take what works for you and use it. It's a bit like growing a garden. I don't mind having 20 tomato plants. That works for me because I can can them, I can bottle them, I can dry them, I can eat them fresh, I can freeze them. But you might not be able to do all those things. So 1 or 2 tomato plants would be plenty for you. Don't let it overwhelm you, okay? And it saves money. It saves a bunch of money, keeps you out of the supermarket, keeps you out of the shopping centres. Your prices are locked in. Your prices are locked in. You've bought next week's food and the week after's food and next month's food and, 12 months down the track food for today's prices. Whereas if you're only shopping weekly, next week you pay next week's prices. Next month you pay next month's prices. So you've locked your prices in for that year. That saves you a heap of money. It just is a lifestyle change for a lot of people, but it's a good one. It's a good one. It's like keeping food in your pantry, keeping your stockpile, whether it be an extra day or an extra week or an extra month. You've got that there as your backup. That gives you confidence. It gives you peace of mind. So does once a year shopping. Gives you the confidence to know that you can cope. And I know with our shopping, I know that if something happened, I can stretch it to longer than 12 months if I need to. We use less of things. We eat smaller meals. We don't have as many snacks. We rearrange things. We can stretch it for longer if we need to. All right. So it sort of fits in with the super shopper thought process. And this week in last week in Super Shopper, this week we're talking about meal plans. If you haven't checked in yet, go to the Members Hub and find the Super Shopper and click on Challenges and find the meal plan one. But it just means less stress. You've got to make fewer decisions, and you've got so much more control over your money. So much more control over your money. All right. Coconut cream and coconut milk. Oh no, you don't vacuum seal sugar. Mm. Um, um, coconut ice, coconut rice, coconut cake. Um, yeah, Joy, bulk shopping means you don't stress about emergencies. That's exactly right. It's all done. Bye, Beverly. All right, night, Jenny. Coconut biscuits. I make really good coconut biscuits. I used to put them in the kids' lunchbox. All sorts of things. Okay, we've made it this far because we've really run it over, and I've been trying so hard to be good and finish on time. Thank you for staying with me. If you are not already subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe button. It just means we can notify you when we go live or upload a video. If you like this video, a thumbs up would be really, really, really appreciated. And if you know someone who might like to know about once a year shopping, or who might like to know more about Cheapskates Club, there's a share button. 3 things you can do to help our channel grow: like, subscribe, and share. And we are, when I checked, we were just 74 people off our 6,000 subscribers. And I'm still planning on doing a prize draw when we hit 6,000 subscribers. So there you go. Now, if you want to know more about once a year shopping, head over to the Members Hub. Everything is in there. If you want to know more about the Members Hub, head over to our website. The links are underneath me there. I will be back next week, and I am hoping that we can talk about how we're planning to save money in 2026 without stressing, because this is my year of calm and gentle and kind. I'm not going to panic. I know that when I said that last week, I got a few comments about, well, it's all very well and good, but I'm really busy. I'm just as busy as I've always been. I haven't slowed down in terms of what I do. I've just changed the way I think about what I do. Simply, I just changed the way I think about what I do. I'm not feeling anxious anymore. If something's not done exactly, if it's scheduled to take an hour and it takes an hour and 5 minutes, I'm not freaking out anymore. It is what it is. I can only do my best, and I'm going to do it calmly, gently, and kindly for me and for you guys and for everybody else I come in contact with. So next week, I'm going to talk about how we're saving money, because we have a trip coming up in June and July. I will tell you, we're planning to go to the Flinders Ranges for 6 weeks. I'm really looking forward to it because we didn't go away last year with Wayne being so sick. We couldn't go away, and so we're both really looking forward to the break this year. And that's what we're planning to do, Flinders Ranges in June and July. Okay, I will see you all next week. Same time, same YouTube channel. Have a great week, everyone. Remember, if you've got a question, put it in the comments below in all capitals. If you've want to talk to me, there's a contact link. Use that, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Have a great week, everyone. Happy cheapskating.